Episode 2 was absolutely brilliant. It was as good as the first one. Now I'm watching it so you don't have to, and I'm going to fly through it because the pace of this one was extremely slow. So I'm going to try speed it up, double it up, and see can we get to the end of it. It started out with a flashback of Willow talking to Queen Sorsha. The first apparent thing that I spotted was, one, he had a weird looking beard, and two, he cannot act. And that is going to be a pullback on this show, because if Willow is indeed going to be the lead of this show, then the chops need to be stepped up. Opening scene of this was pretty much Queen Sorsha again degrading her marriage to Mad Mardigan. We found out that he was sent to his death, never to return, and then she kind of capitalizes and pushes back even further on Willow by absolutely and utterly destroying him, his ability and his powers, pretty much retconning the entire movie where Willow was this powerful wizard.
And you have the truest heart I ever will, but you're not a great sorcerer.
Okay, that's the end of the show, right? You're not a great sorcerer. Let's just shut it down right there. Or is this being set up for an even better sorcerer to be taught? Let's see.
And you never will be.
So yeah, she absolutely destroys everything about the character and everything that Willow stands for. So we jump back over to the most likable and class characters that are in TV today. That's Kit, that's her SJW friend with the half haircut, that's Alora Dunnan, who hasn't got a clue what's going on. And basically Willow brings them around to his village and he shows them off. And you pretty much have all the villagers like staring at Alora Dunnan as if she's like some celebrity or something like that. I don't know, it's absolutely cringe. And that leads us into this scene then, which is again retconning and absolutely disgusting in terms of Willow being a character. He pulls all the villagers together and he brings Alora Dunnan up in front of them. He's trying to display his powers as some high and mighty wizard.
I like to try and loosen them up a bit at the start. Anyway, tonight we rejoice for that which I...
He enters into some sort of comedy routine, completely and utterly unfunny, unrelated to where we were in episode 1 in terms of, listen, the stakes are high, Arik has been kidnapped by the crone, and there's all these uncrossable oceans that we have to get through. All that seems to be deflated and reducted back to a terrible comedy sequence that goes absolutely nowhere, doesn't build character for Willow, makes him look like a complete bumbling idiot, and definitely doesn't build character for Alora Dunnan. Of course, Kit has a face like a bulldog chewing on a wasp. That's going to be a recurring theme throughout this show. Be guaranteed of that. And this episode is quite like episode 2 of Rings of Power, where you anticipated an uptake from the first episode, but nothing actually happened, and it actually went backwards. And all of a sudden we were like sludging through this garbage with no start, no middle, no end. Bumbling in the dark, looking for laughs. Nothing gathered, nothing gained. We know that Kit is annoyed. She thinks that everything has been slowed down. Let's get out and rescue my brother. Alora Dannan's kind of the same, but she's sitting there bumbling all over the place on the stage with Willow. And you can kind of sense that no one in the village, none of his peers actually respect him. We just came from a scene where Sorsha the Queen absolutely destroyed him and said he was a pathetic piece of shit and to jog on. And you're kind of sitting here going, okay, who am I following here? Who's the protagonist? Who am I putting my faith in? Because I'm telling you one thing, it is not Alora Dunnan. Absolutely not. So her whole arc consists of her picking the right finger that he holds up in front of the entire village and the crew of extremely likable characters that are plodding along with this story. Let's see, does she pick the right finger?
Is in which finger? It's all right.
So that's a 10-minute sequence that culminated with her being unable to pick a finger or something like that, and Kit sitting there with a smug face, loving every second of it. That's the character building that we've got going on at the beginning of this second episode. So we get this dark, menacing scene off in a cave somewhere where we have this orc-like Voldemort type guy. I guess his name is Lich or something like that, and he's hearing voices from Crone, I guess is the lead antagonist in this story. They're talking about Alora Dunnan must be found and must be destroyed. So we pop back over then to Queen Sorsha. She's having a conversation with the maid about Alora Dunnan, and we realize that she knew all along and she was keeping it a secret. So she sends the dude from the office who got spiked in the shoulder by the Voldemort orc. She sends him off to find the girl. She must be found, she must be protected, she must be brought back here. But of course then we have this real subtle pan into his hand where we have like black veins popping all over the place, and he's evil. So now we know that he's evil because we did a sinister pan in, and he did this weird look over his shoulder where it was like, okay, What? We're back to the village. We're back to Willow. We're back to him trying to teach Elora Danan some sort of magic. It's absolutely and utterly not working. And this goes on for the entire episode. That's why I said I'm going to fly through this, because not much else happens. It's pretty much a slog. It's a marathon of him bumbling and fumbling over himself trying to teach magic to someone who is even more of an idiot than he is. So then we have this scene where Willow's daughter convinces him to go on the journey, to teach his beautiful magic to Elora Danan, go on the journey, cross these forbidden oceans and find Mr. Arik and all this type of stuff. And he's having these like flashbacks or premonitions, which actually look cool. They were like a millisecond long, but they actually looked awesome. It was this like dystopian future of medieval times where he had this like grey beard, was people like sprayed all over the ground dead, and he was on this mad battlefield. That shit looked cool. Then we pop right back to the actual story, and again you're sitting there going, oh my god, come on, please move. Then we have this unconvincing pep talk from his daughter, and he decides, yes indeed I will go on the journey, blah 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 blah. And then his daughter pops open this box and there's a stick in there. It's a wand, I guess, or something from Willow, and they play the music from Willow, and we're all supposed to be like, whoa. Except for the people that are watching the show never saw Willow and never will, because this is what they think is content. So then we have Elora Danan goes missing, and then we have a beautiful, fantastically scripted scene from Kit, who's unbelievably not annoying, and her SJW friend with half a haircut. Check it out.
I'm sure as hell not waiting around for Muffin Girl to learn how to pick the right finger.
You can't regurgitate the same thing over and over again, but for me, this is not good dialogue, and for me the accent is really distracting, and the tone in which it's delivered is distracting, and her face is distracting, and everything about this characterization is distracting. And I can't understand how we've gotten to a place where showrunners believe that people want to consume that, where the protagonist is unbelievably annoying, unbelievably like visibly annoying. How do they think that this is appealing to a mass audience? I'll never get it. So they all have this big confrontation, and Kit goes on her way and everyone else goes looking for Elora Danan, and we have kind of a splitting of the group, and now we have a search for the chosen one. Awesome. So Willow finds her and he delivers another pep talk. I think it's probably like the second or third one that he delivers to her, but don't worry, because there's another 5 or 6 more, and she still doesn't grasp the concept of what she has to do or what the show is about. So be prepared for that.
I'm excited to learn magic and whatnot.
So then we get this sentimental goodbye from Willow to his daughter and to his family, but it's not sentimental at all. It feels forced. The tone feels like it's all over the place. We go from quirky to serious to funny to evil. It's literally just all over the place, completely and utterly unbalanced. And it is an indictment of screenwriting. It is an indictment of showrunners trying to force agenda and just kind of cherry picking what they think is going to work for a broad audience. And what I can't really understand is how we've gotten to this place, like I alluded to already, where they can't see the nose at the front of their face. This shit is not working. People are panning this stuff. Or are they so deeply embedded in the cult that when they see these positive reviews on Rotten Tomatoes, they actually think that that's real? So then we get this scene here with the dude from The Office, and he's got the menace and evil look. He's arrived on and he's tracking Elora Danan, and he's tracking this group, and it turns into, I guess, a Twilight movie or something. So yeah. He's a vampire now, or a monster or something, and we're just kind of like, okay, cool, he's evil. We have Kit pandering along with her horse, and we see the guys that are on the journey now. Surely the story's going to start moving at this stage, right? We have another conversation with Kit and Borman about her father, and he says, listen, I know who your father is. I've worked with him, I fought with him, and I have this awesome story to tell you. And then we cut away and we never hear anything more about it for the rest of the episode. So then we get to the scene which annoyed me more than any other scene in the first episode and the second episode. It's not the worst scene, but it's the one that annoyed me most, because basically they're kind of bumbling along in this carriage and he's trying to teach her, and again everything's just flying all over her head, and she's acting ditzy and dopey like some teenager who's just been out drinking all night and is getting ready to vomit.
I wanted to train you when you were a child. The sorcery has been stifled for far too long. Our job is to set it free.
Oh my god.
Come on.
Sorry.
You should probably walk for a bit.
Yeah, I was watching that one, and who wrote that scene? who sat around in a room. There was probably 7 or 8 people, if not more, drinking coffees, talking about woke libtoid bullshit. Who came up with that scene where Willow was going to, for the 6th or 7th time in this one episode, explain to Laura Dannon the magnitude of the story, the magnitude of her powers, and what they were facing in terms of Crone, the evil wizard who is out for justice and out for blood. The entire time, she keeps interrupting with her TikTok Kardashian voice saying, well, I don't understand, and oh, I don't know anything what you're talking about. And then she pukes all over him. And this leads us to the second most annoying scene in this episode, and possibly for some the most annoying thing that they will ever see in their entire life. We're sitting around a campfire. Willow is again for the 8th or 9th time trying to explain to her the magnitude and what has to be done. So he gets her to perform a very simple spell. Check this out.
What
are you doing with your face? Wait a minute, let me say it first. Tuatha. No, slower. Tuatha. You're being something weird. Be you. Be a human being. No, Hoatha, like you're hoeing the garden. Hoatha.
Tuatha, Throckmorda, Huatha.
So this goes on for far too long, maybe 3 to 4 minutes in this one sequence, but the attempt at the spell goes on for another 20 minutes, right up until the culmination and the crescendo of the show.
How long until she starts shooting lightning bolts out of her fingertips?
She has to master the 4 pillars of sorcery.
So Kit knows what's going on. She knows that this is garbage. Even though she's chewing on a wasp, she's the same as us. She's seeing it in real time. This is absolute and utter garbage. So then we get a flashback scene where Willow heads to the kingdom, into the castle where Laura Dannon is living under the rule of King Sorsha, and I guess he tries to kidnap her or something like that, and it's building this weird relationship / dimension between Willow and the Queen. I don't get it. I have no idea what's going on with it.
Wait, come back. I didn't mean anything.
You'd just slip away and I wouldn't send every knight in the kingdom after you.
Stay back.
So she's coming at him hard because he was just talking to the kid who ran away as if he was trying to abduct her. We've got 2 knights coming with their hands on their swords. It's like, what the hell has happened? What's going on? Willow and Sorsha were supposed to be best friends, and they were supposed to be like companions, and they saved the world before together. And then we have a 30-second flashback at the beginning of the show that doesn't really explain anything, just shows her defaming him and making him out to be some sort of idiot. And then we get this scene where it's like they attack him. He's got to flee from the kingdom.
I'm warning you.
Oh, you'll what? Do your old disappearing pig trick?
From now on, I protect my people.
I have no idea what that was about. It doesn't make one bit of sense, but not much does in this one. We pop back over to our fellowship. Let's see what they're up to.
Tuatha, Throckmora, Huatha.
You have to focus.
Willow gets angry. He tells her, come on, let's get your shit together here. Say the fucking words and get the spell done, will you? And she gets up and she storms off and goes missing again. Second time in this episode, I think she gets up and storms off and goes missing again. And I'll give you 20 euros if you can tell me what the next scene will consist of when she's on her own inside in the forest somewhere. This is punishment. This is torture. This is absolute and utter trash. I could say the spell better than her at this stage. What are they trying to achieve? This guy shows up and gives her some sort of pep talk, and I guess he likes her as well or something. So they have another elongated conversation that goes absolutely nowhere, and guess what she does next? Does it work? Does the spell work this time? Because now we have got some lovely, beautiful music playing in the background and she's saying it in a more slow and lethargic sense. Does it work? No, it doesn't work. It doesn't work at all. So then we get this flashback / vision scene from Willow, and it's probably the best part of the entire show. It lasts like 15 seconds. So then we cut to Laura Dannon. It's the morning after the night before of the spell not going her way. She wakes up, she checks the ground to see if in fact it did work, because if the spell works, then we're going to have this beautiful sprouting flower up out of the ground or something like that. She checks it, it doesn't work. One more time, maybe? Should we go for one more time? Excellent. I wanted to do that in the first time she tried to say that. So the dude from the office shows up, sparks her out cold, and now she's kidnapped and gone missing again. What happened in that episode? To everyone's surprise and shock, a beautiful CGI flower erupts out of the ground as soon as she leaves. This is like a trope that we see over and over again in all sorts of pop culture. We have our protagonist who can't achieve the goal and tries, and in the very end it gets it. This was just drawn out, too long, absolute and utter dog shit. But what we'll do is we'll head into the third episode and see does it get any better. If you liked it, share it, subscribe it, I appreciate it. Cheers.